Good evening. My name is Nikki, and you are watching the debut episode of my new show, Hey Nikki. This is Beyond Eons Productions, and I am very sorry for the last minute switcheroo. I have a new account, Hey Nikki Show, and unfortunately, I cannot go live yet. So I have to look into that. I did a very little bit of research, and basically new accounts are blocked from going live right away. So what I'll do is just put out more content until they let me in, and what I'll do is I'll collaborate with that account and then use AWT Nikki style initially until I can go fully functioning over to Hey Nikki Show. So again, welcome. My name is Nikki Johnston, and my first guest I have known since I think 2018, beginning of 2019. Started off meeting from a mutual friend, someone who I had prepped in the past for competition. This lady was floored by her friend's results and decided that she wanted to contact me to start competition prep. So we have known each other since then and have become absolute best friends. And our relationship has developed over the years, and I feel like she's my sister. It's the most interesting relationship because I think we've only met in person literally 3 times. I think once after I moved to Rhode Island in 2017, and then I went back to visit her, went back to visit Maryland, and we met up. And then I went to one of her shows last year, and then I went to go visit her in her home down in Florida. But we're 2 peas in a pod. We're very similar. We just have a great dynamic together, and I wouldn't want anyone else to be the first one to be on my show, and I'm super excited to have her on. So let me bring on Miss Bonnie Little, and we will get started. Hey, Dante. All right, let's see, Miss Bonnie. And all you have to do is accept.
Oh, hey.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Good evening. I'm good.
Good.
How are you
See what's going on
feeling?
here. Huh?
How you feeling?
Sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a killer massage.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I just got out of the Epsom salt, and now I'm going to have some lemon ginger tea.
Good. All right. So you are my debut guest for my new show, Hey Nikki.
Hey, Nikki.
So I'm so happy to have you on. And before I get into what I want to talk about, why don't you introduce yourself, who you are, and what you do, and kind of what you've been up to?
I am Bonnie Little, and I currently work for Max Living Chiropractic. I'm a chiropractic assistant. I also work in nutrition and do personal training. I started with the chiropractic care, in the spring-ish, and then a little about me. I'm a mom of 3. I'm a competitive bodybuilder. I've got 5 grandchildren, an amazing husband, and I'm on the road to get to the O eventually. So, yes.
Okay.
That's me.
And then for the people who don't know who O is, what is the O?
The Olympia stage, bodybuilding. I want to be in that the top elite athletes. So
Yeah.
I'll get there.
Yes, we will. You and I.
Yes, we will.
Not
We
me
will
on stage. No,
absolutely
no,
get
no.
there.
Not me
Huh?
on the stage. I'll be in the audience.
Yes. You'll coach me the whole way.
So you heard, I'm sure you heard that I was introducing you, and that we've been working together since 2018, and just kind of the way our relationship has progressed over the years, and it's kind of hit like I don't know, ever since I came down to visit you, like the union of our souls had just got intertwined so much deeper.
Right.
It's been fascinating because we've literally, I think that's the third or fourth time that we met in person.
You forgot, but you came to our wedding too.
Oh, the wedding too. Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
So that would have been the
So
fourth one then.
yeah, I didn't, yeah, you had coached me for quite a while before we even met in
Yeah.
person. So, and all the boys in the fire department thought you were catfishing me.
Catfishing. Wait,
They were
what
so
was your
worried
buddy's
about that.
name? What
Huh?
was his name at the wedding who I talked to that said that?
Tony Myatico.
Tony,
Remember?
I love you. He's like, I just seriously thought you were catfishing us the whole time.
That was an awesome story.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny, but it's true. Think about it. For what I do, or at least since 2017, I've been living here in Rhode Island, and that's kind of when the online journey took off. So I was here by the time that we started working together. So literally everything was online, and even working with Tony, I I may have met Tony in person before. I think I did meet Tony in person
You
before we
did. I
moved.
remember saying that
So
one.
yeah, yeah. So it's just like people, they have to trust in what you do. I mean, literally trusting in the pictures I put up. But luckily, I've been able to build a business on referrals.
Referrals are
So like,
huge. Yeah.
yeah, real people who've actually gotten shape from me, and it just, trickles down the line.
Yeah.
So you, God, your story is just so integrated, so wild, so mind blowing.
Hmm.
I don't know that we're going to be able to get through everything tonight, but
Right.
I wanted to start off with something completely not off the wall,
Okay.
but just kind of out of left field.
All
And,
right.
and I don't know how much you have thought about it or have to say about it, but we'll see where it goes.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's
So
go.
I want you to turn your head to the left, turn your head to the right. Okay. Do you guys see Bonnie's hair? It has not always been this short, and it has not
No.
always been gray and white.
Right.
Okay. So last week, Mr. Mike Little, her husband, asked Bonnie to grow her hair back. All
Yes,
right.
he did.
So I want to kind of take this to how did you receive that as the Bonnie now? And again, we're not going to go deep into your story,
Yeah.
but how versus how the Bonnie maybe in 2018, maybe even before, would have responded to that.
Uh, totally different.
Okay. So let's talk about, because you're in a good place right now. So
Yeah.
let's go from where you're at right out.
Yeah.
Are those tears?
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh
Of
my God, no,
course.
no, no, no. So let's talk about now how you received that. So, because for anybody, it would be like, oh, like my husband wants me to grow my hair back. He loves it. But at the same time, who you are being very strong-minded, strong-willed,
Mhm.
and you usually say, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want to do. And if my hair wants to be short, it's going to be short, and I won't do anything for anybody. However, he's your life partner, your soulmate,
Right.
right? So this is kind of a different take on how you can combine who you are with feeling good, hopefully, about doing something for your husband. So on that note, you start with how you to handle it right now.
So he had been looking through pictures or whatever. He does that a lot, and looks at my transformation through the years of us being together. And he was like, sometimes I miss your long hair. And I'm like, you know what? Sometimes I do too. And he's like, did you grow it back out? And without hesitation said, sure. Yeah, no problem. And that's huge because I don't agree to shit
Right.
like you had prefaced with. So yeah, I just not a big deal. It's hair. And if we grow it back out, and I said it's just going to be a little bit of a rough process. So if
Right.
I'm wearing a hat a lot, don't. don't ask me to take it off.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So did
Um,
you feel like, so that's awesome. So without a blink of the eye, you were just like, why
yeah,
not? Like, sure, I'll
if
do
that
this for
makes it,
you.
yeah, yeah.
So
And
was there anything in your head later that said, whoa, I can't believe I just agreed to that. Like, I love my hair right now. Why would I change it? Or like, have you actually thought about it since then?
since he mentioned it, I started to think about it, and I'm fine. I love it short. It's super easy, you know, with the Jeep and training all the time. It just makes life so much easier for me. And I was like, even when it was long, I wore it up on my head the whole time. I never styled it because it's just a pain in the ass, but it does look prettier. And the bigger my muscles get, the less feminine I look.
Yeah,
So maybe having a little bit of hair will, you know, make me look a little bit more feminine. I don't know. Not that I don't care. If he likes it, that's
right.
fine. Fine with it.
Okay, so all right. So before we talk about how you would react in the past, we'll take that femininity
Mhm.
part. We as female competitors go through a lot. We start our journeys to try to have this amazing body. We not only do we see the physique, we see everything that goes behind it. And me being an athlete, you being a vet, we come from very different backgrounds, but very strong-willed, needing a goal, wanting to push harder, harder, harder.
Oh yeah.
And with that comes a lot of scary thing. So once you start, right, you get the taste of competing. It feels great. You want to do it more. You always want to stay lean. So you have a psychological component of forever wanting to be a size 2 or a size 4 and being completely ripped, right? So now the next level to that is, okay, so where do you want to go with it? Do you want to just do it for fun and you like to be in a little pretty bikini and heels and show your ass on the stage, or do you morph your body into something bigger and more? Because y'all, let me tell you, once you start seeing those veins popping and those muscles popping, it's like, oh, I want them bigger. I want
Yeah.
more. I want to
It's
see more.
addicting.
Right.
Yes.
And so I'm going to take it to where I'm going to take it because you have not hit the point that I hit back in 2015. So most competitive, not most, I'm sorry, let me take that back. There are many competitive bodybuilders who decide to take performance enhancing drugs to change their physiques. They use it to build more muscle. They use it to get a certain look. Whatever the case may be, or what they're trying to accomplish within their bodybuilding journey, it becomes part of their identity, which it has become part of our identity as well. And there's a huge stigma around it, unfortunately.
Mhm.
And when it comes to steroids or gear or performance enhancing drugs, they are supplementary. And I think people see it as an end all be all or a catch all. And basically, if you don't use it, you lose it. You know, when you put something into your body to do a certain thing, you have to make sure that everything is in its place. So your nutrition is on point. You're taking the right supplements to counterbalance some of the negative side effects. You know, you have a coach who's coaching you through those things. And for me, femininity is a big thing.
Mhm.
And I will go wherever my clients want to go because it's their body, but I make sure psychologically that they stay in the right place.
Yes.
So with that said, with your journey and going in that direction, how have you seen your femininity change? Like, where have you seen it change the most?
The most is probably, well, I mean, let's just get to the facial hair. Like that is, it's part of it.
Mhm.
And being Italian and Native American, I'm already screwed anyway in that department. I'm hairy
Yep.
everywhere, so it just doesn't really
Yeah.
matter. So, you know, it's just a nuance. But and my voice. it's changed a little bit. Where I used to sing, I can't sing anymore. Not like, I mean, I'll do it, but it freaking sucks.
We're
So,
croaking like frogs.
yeah. But other than that, I don't look at them as they're the reason my body is changing. Everything goes together. You know, there's always going to be negatives and there's always going to be positives in anything that you do. And if you choose to focus on the negatives all the time, where are we going to end up? In a fucking pit. Focus on the positive parts of it. And, like you said, there's big misconceptions about using PEDs and, steroids or gear, whatever they choose to call it. But without the work and without the proper nutrition, forget it. What are you
Right.
doing it for?
Yeah.
So I believe in the nutrition part of it and the rest part of it and putting the frigging work in. So yeah, but that's where, sorry, gotta know.
No, 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 no.
Went off the
I
rails
think
a little
that's,
bit.
yeah, that's super important because not too many women are talking about it. And,
Yeah,
I've seen a couple of accounts on Instagram, and it's been really refreshing to see all levels of the bodybuilding journey. So you're seeing bikini girls taking stuff, you're seeing female bodybuilders taking stuff, and it's funny because now I'm seeing that there are some female bodybuilders that take less than some bikini girls.
yeah,
So the thing is you have to realize that what you guys see up there, what you guys see up on that stage is very, very hard work.
oh yeah.
But there's also a genetic component to that. So for me, I'm very sensitive to most gear. I can't take a lot.
Hmm.
And I get more negative side effects than positive. So I straddle that line of having to stay at really low levels. So
Yeah.
when I'm coaching someone, and I never bring up gear to my clients, I don't advocate for it. If they bring up the topic and they want to move in that direction, then I will coach them. And I always tell them, my story of where I'm at. And then we kind of take it stepwise from there.
Yeah.
And so it can affect you psychologically as well. I know that the most I had ever taken was going into that 2016 prep.
Hmm.
And that is when I decided that it was no longer something that I wanted to do. I had pushed my body pretty far. I know I could have gone a lot farther, but I achieved a body that I never thought I could achieve. But when I went back and looked at pictures, and even with the makeup and even with the hair and the lashes, I just saw someone looking back at me that I didn't like.
Okay.
And at that point, it wasn't worth it for me to continue using the way I was using. My
Hmm.
facial structure had changed. My voice was deeper than it is now. Um, I actually really didn't have the hair issue. I
Yeah.
like now that I'm in my 40s and dealing with all this hormonal perimenopausal bullshit, like I'll get a few hairs here and there, but
Yeah.
I've never been hairy. Like I've always had like super smooth, like I just don't grow hair that
And keep
easily.
bragging.
Um, yeah, it's great.
Keep
So it
bragging.
was, yeah, like so I noticed like even through here. Like I noticed even through my forehead, I noticed some anatomical
Hmm.
changes. And of course, when you get really lean, you're like skin and bones.
Yeah.
I'm like you're
Yeah.
shallow. You lose all your facial fat, so that makes a difference. But yeah, I didn't like. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into it, but I didn't like who I was. I didn't like what I saw in the mirror. I didn't like how I felt. And hey, Remy. And so, yeah, that was it. And it ended up being the end of my career, unfortunately.
Mhm.
But I used that experience as a means to teach all of my clients. And so that we do it in a very safe, effective, and cyclical fashion
Yeah.
because it's so important because they can make you change and do beautiful things like it has for you.
Hmm.
And I mean, I love what we've done so far with your body. And you guys, you should see this woman in the gym. She's a fucking monster. And like,
That's what,
obviously I'm not, she's in her heyday. I'm not in my heyday anymore. But man, would I've loved to go toe to toe with you back in the day. Like, seriously.
that would have
I
been a
had,
lot of fun.
yeah, I had so much fun training with you, and
Oh, great.
it felt good being the trainer,
Yes.
um, and then still pushing myself harder. So it was a great combination of going hard and then also pushing you harder than, um, not that you knew you were capable of, but just something so different that you hadn't experienced yet, because you've done all this on your own.
On my
Yeah,
own. I've never had anybody train me until
right,
you flew in,
right,
and that was the best experience.
yeah.
Like I take it with me every time I go and I work glutes. You're right there with me, and I'm like, plump that ass up.
Yeah,
Like, come on, work harder, work harder. And I just you're in my head. So
right.
yeah,
Awesome.
they
And that's
describe me as fucking intense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
My
And
parents,
that's the thing.
yeah.
And what?
I said my parents ran into a couple at a restaurant, and my parents had never seen them before, and they obviously worked out because my dad said the guy was super built.
Yeah, yeah.
He goes, looks at my mom, and he's like, I'm going to show them Bonnie's picture, her competition picture, and walks over there, doesn't know these people, and
Oh
he
my
goes, you look like you work out. He's like, well, yeah, I'm a bodybuilder. He goes, this is my daughter. And he's like, oh, that's Bonnie Little, I know her.
God.
And
No way.
yeah, so super cool. And the guy was like, yeah, she's fucking intense. That's what the
I
other
love
guy
it.
said to my parents. So yeah, I guess that's what they say.
Well, you guys, like Bonnie is extremely hardworking, extremely humble, and she has an aura about her. And the stories that I've heard from you about being at shows, the people that you met, you're
Yeah,
building a community, and we see so much drama and cattiness and just tension for no reason. Like,
yeah,
how big is this fucking world? Like, do you seriously have to go into a competition and treat each other like shit? For
right.
what? We're all going to get a piece. At some point, when it's your time, you will get that first place. You will be able to move up to the next level. But if you build that community around you of people and support, you last
Yeah,
so much longer. You can keep going. You have the reason to do it,
right.
because it when you're in the trenches, it gets really hard. You want to quit. You want to lay down. You don't want you're literally crying on the stairmaster.
Yeah, it's a lonely sport. It's a
Yeah,
very lonely sport.
right.
Yeah, that
So
I
why would competitors want to seclude themselves from each other? And
Mhm.
it just doesn't make sense to me. And even when you watch like the Olympia, there's very few genuine moments up there
Right.
where you see other competitors just genuinely happy for the winner.
Mhm.
And it's sad. It's really sad. And of course, you know, you have to keep it in. Like, I've been in positions where I've not won a show, or I thought that I wasn't placed where I should have been, but that never changed. Hey, Miss Mia. And that never changed who I was. Like, and congratulating other people for where they were at or beating me, you
Mhm.
know? Like, so yeah, I mean, people know you
There's
one, not just because, yeah, yeah, not just because of your body. That's Bonnie's daughter right there. Where's Miss Mary?
Mary's in the room with Giovanni.
So I just love that, and I think that you set such a beautiful example for the bodybuilding community, and there's not enough of people like you. So I want to sincerely congratulate you for that, because you've really set the stage for the people around you and for myself, because like I get so much joy from my clients and their wins, no matter how big and how small, and it keeps me motivated and reminds me of why I do what I do. And um, this relationship that we have and that we built has just been intense in the best of ways. And I mean, I love you dearly. And, you know, it's just, it gets better and better. And
It
it's
does.
just so cool to be a part of.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's just, it's a beautiful thing. Okay, so let's backtrack a little bit. So
Yeah.
my initial question was regarding your hair.
Yeah.
So Bonnie's gonna grow her hair back. So make sure that you guys watch her on social media. So BJ Little 72,
Yes.
correct?
Yep, that's me.
Okay. So we're going into an off season right now, or we're in off season. She's still incredibly lean, which I'm extremely jealous about. And
Me
eating
too.
like 4,000 calories a day, which I'm also extremely jealous about. So you guys will get to see her journey. And then of course we'll do more updates, but the goal is to step on stage again in 2026.
Yes.
And we're going pro in 2026.
Yes. We're going to be Olympia ready
Hell yeah.
for 2026. I already told Mike, I'm like, when we step
Yeah,
back
Mike
on
better be
stage,
ready.
we're going.
Yeah.
We're going until we get there.
Hell
So,
yeah. Hell
you know,
yeah.
we need to
But
save all the money.
tell him, get your waist trainer on. We're going.
Did you hear that, Mike? He's not listening.
All right, good, good. You can watch it later. Okay, so let's rewind. So there's been many stages of Bonnie through the years. So let's go to a time in your life where was probably more of a difficult time when you were, previously married and your partner at the time asked you to grow your hair back. How would that Bonnie have responded back then?
Fuck no. That's
Why?
exactly, I would have been, you're not going to control me. You don't own me. You're not going to tell me what to do with my body, my hair. If you don't like it, look the other way. I don't care. Part of
Mhm.
me still is like that, but I have so much respect for my husband. He might tell you differently, but I have a lot of respect for my husband, and he does not ask me for much at all. Like, he's the most selfless, giving person. So for him to ask me, it's not a big deal. It's not for control purposes. Whereas before, I would have completely taken it as you're trying to control me and
Right.
change who I am. Like, no, no, hell
So
no.
that Bonnie back then. So think about a time that did happen. Whatever the issue was, whether it was picking food or anything, something that actually happened. How did you respond at the time? Was
Uh,
it
uh,
exactly what you said? Can you give, yeah, just give an example of a time where this actually happened to you, and like where were you at in your life, and what ensued? What was the end result?
um, well, it wasn't necessarily hair,
Right.
a haircut, but just, how I dressed,
Okay.
how I dressed was a big thing, and how I lived my life. Like, the
Mhm.
only way I could live it was how he lived it. There was no me. So I actually didn't even stand up for myself. I, because of the situation that I was in.
Yeah.
Um, I was suppressed and to be seen and not heard. So
Mhm.
inside, I'm fighting like crazy. And I would eventually explode.
Yeah.
And I've thrown Tupperware across the house. I've broken glass. I've, got in my car and sped off like a fucking maniac. I've screamed and yelled at the top of my lungs, drank myself into an oblivion. All those things. All those things were me. And it did not have any type of coping mechanism, any type of how to deal with anything. I wasn't
Right.
allowed to. So, you know, breaking free was difficult.
Yeah. Oh yes.
I still find it difficult at times because I still have
Right.
triggers. So, and I just try to think before I react most of the time. And I'm getting better at it.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect,
Yeah.
but I'm getting better at it.
Yeah. I'm in the same position, and I find myself angry. I think part of it's hormonal because, I've talked about this on my on with my clients and on Instagram, and just dealing with like perimenopausal symptoms. It's very real. That again, another topic that a lot of women are starting to talk about because the millennials are coming up and they're going through that time and age.
Mhm.
But the anger is just, and it's just so overwhelming, and it just takes over. And for me, I see it a lot when I'm driving because I'm a
Yes.
very angry driver. And
No, you're not. Just kidding.
so it was funny. I drove my boss somewhere, and she's like, "Oh, you're not as bad as my husband." I'm like, I'm being tame for you right now because this is like only the second time you've been in my car. But yeah, I've done some stupid shit, and
Yeah.
I just recently saw a guy overturn his car right in, like the car in front of us, just overturned on the highway because he was texting.
Damn.
And yeah, it was scary. Like I stopped off at the side of the road. Um, I got out of the car because I was one of the first people to see it. There's a couple cars behind me, and luckily there was a fireman off duty, and he went over, ran over to the car, ripped off the car door or the windshield, and pulled the guy out. He was completely fine. Come to find out, he was texting, and so that really struck a chord with me, because I do have a habit of doing that. So I've greatly, greatly reduced doing that.
Good.
And also trying to be more patient on the road. Because now that I do work for a local establishment, I'm going to be driving around people who I actually will see in that establishment. And so that also kind of gives me a reminder. But then what happens? I have no outlet. Like my body hurts, so I'm not playing volleyball, so I don't have that as an outlet. The gym is not really an outlet for me right now. It really never has been, which is kind of funny to say because
Yeah.
of the insane shit tons of weight I've lifted over the years. But
Right.
I never have gotten that feeling that I've got like I do when I play ball. Um, so yeah, like there have been times, like I remember when we were trying to sell, when I got divorced from my ex-husband, we had to keep living we had to keep living together for like 4 months until we sold the house. So I slept in the guest bedroom. Yeah, both of us, right? There was one day I got so angry, and I think I kicked the trash can, which fucking hurt my toe. That pissed me off, and I took the thing and I threw it and slammed it into the wall. Totally put a hole in the wall. And then I got more pissed off, and I ran off to Home Depot to try to go fix it and bought all this spackle and bullshit. And so later on, Raven asked me what happened. I said I had a fight with the trash can. But it was my ex that pissed me off. So like, I've done that. I've thrown glass at the wall, or I've punched doors. And just to see me now, and no one would ever think that that's something that I would have done in the past. But yeah, there's still that anger inside that I'm still dealing with, even nearly 5 years post divorce, still dealing with that PTSD, those traumas. And I was very blessed to have a very good childhood and upbringing. So I didn't know that someone could be so hurtful. You know what I mean? So it was a shock to my system that was very traumatic for me, because I didn't live that way. I didn't understand it, and I was sucked into it. And that lasted for 12 years. So everyone has their like level of tolerance, and so but the end result's still the same. We're still dealing with the PTSD and those feelings. And um yeah, it still hurts, it still comes up. My daughter is only 15, so I'm still having to deal with her father, make things work, trying to make sure she gets back and forth safely. It's not someone I can co-parent with, as you know.
Yeah.
Um, in your situation too, there's no such thing as co-parenting with this type of person. Um, but yeah, I think we're both very lucky to have significant others who are just so, for the most part, level-headed. Like I don't know how Ori deals with me sometimes because I can feel you feel the anger and the rage, and it's not even them that's doing it. It's just whatever is going on just gets out of control, and it sucks. And it having to apologize later and then trying to internalize those feelings and try to understand them. It makes it really hard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I think I'm trying to think where to segue from here because we've covered a lot already.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know that I want to get into another topic because I think we have a whole another show related to past Bonnie because you have so many different segments of your life that kind of took on similar characteristics.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite as devastating each time like you went through something, you changed something to better yourself, but you still ended up getting wrapped up in something that wasn't quite right yet
Yeah.
to get to where you're at
Yeah.
today.
Exactly.
And yeah, what I'd love to do is kind of reverse engineer and go back to even your youth, because there's some stuff about you that I don't know of where this started. Like, you know, for me, again, I don't know what history in my childhood that would lend itself to me being an empath to being getting wrapped up in a narcissistic relationship, right?
Right.
So like I don't have any, maybe I won't get closure in that sense because I can't maybe I just don't have that connection because there isn't one, and what's really cool about what your boss Mariella does is the whole fusion thing,
Hmm.
and realizing that when I went through that process that there wasn't anything there in my childhood up until you know I would say after my first divorce that I really dealt with anything that was super traumatic for me. And like again, like guys, I grew up like a little pretty princess, seriously. Like fairy tale, like could do no wrong, naive,
I couldn't even
didn't know
imagine.
shit, didn't know shit about the world, nothing, nothing, nothing. So, um, but let's end with this. What do you want people to know about you and where you're at right now? I guess maybe some words of advice.
So the first thing that comes to mind is never giving up. Um, and if you do, shake it off. Feel it, live in that moment, but know that that's not what you truly, that probably isn't what you truly want. Giving up on yourself, that is, and your dreams. Um, it's hard, and anything worth having, you've got to work for it. So put one foot in front of the other, dust it off, like look down, look down that path, look down the long road. Is it going to affect you in the long run? This minor little hiccup. And that's how I've been getting through this fucking season traffic is they don't live here permanently.
Right.
I live here permanently. They might be in a hurry. I don't need to be in a hurry. Like if you want to run that red light and risk your family and somebody else's
Yeah.
family, it's not my problem. So it's just a matter of, just I went all over the place, but
Yeah.
prioritizing what you want, think about it, and don't give up. Just keep pushing
Mm.
forward. It'll happen. Manifest the shit out of your life. It works. It's a beautiful thing.
Now, I do want to interject something. So, you guys, this is someone who is getting her physically hurt by someone, okay? Going from something being traumatized not just by an ex-husband, but other people in the military. So you got to understand, like you're watching a woman who has gotten extreme abuse, and now what is frustrating her now because of the progression of who she is and the way she's been able to get through life, that traffic is what a problem is for you now.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not trying to belittle that. I'm just saying you can get through
Oh
it.
yeah.
And to be able to be in that position over here where your life could have ended and
Mm-hmm.
getting through that, you have gotten through that over the years to the point where you're healing and moving forward and taking little steps each time. That traffic is something that is at the forefront of your mind of what's bothersome to you.
Right.
And that is such a beautiful thing, like to have come this far.
And to touch on that, like just so that people understand, I mean, this wasn't too long ago. In 2009, I finally had enough of being abused physically. He tried to kill me. I packed my 3 kids up, my dog. I had $32 in my pocket, put anything I could in my car, and I moved 4 states away. No job, no home, no family, nothing but me, my 3 kids, and my dog. 32 fucking dollars in my pocket. But I'd do it again. I would do it again
Yes.
in a heartbeat because I needed to save myself and I needed to save my children.
Yep.
And here I am. And what bugs me the most is traffic.
Yep.
And I can bitch about it because I'm here to say
Right.
it. I'm not
Right.
dead,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah, seriously, it's amazing. It's amazing to me. And you guys, she only progresses each and every year. Oh, thank you, Mr. Muslimania. Appreciate it. And yeah, the thing, one thing that I heard is never, you won't leave a particular situation until the person is treating you worse than how you feel about yourself.
Mhm.
And when I heard that, I was like, damn, that is so true. So I personally had gotten to the point where I felt so low about myself, felt guilty about all these things that I didn't do, and felt like everything was my fault. And then when this person actually released me of it, that said, hey, I think this is my fault, I was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm done. You let me go. You took these shackles off. I'm
Yeah.
out. But I couldn't leave until then. I tried once, it didn't work. I came running back despite being physically abused,
Yep.
you know?
It's that
And then for you,
cycle.
yeah. And that's the same thing for you. You have had enough. You hit the breaking point where you're like, this person is treating me worse than how I feel about myself.
Yeah.
I've got 3 babies. I'm out. I gotta go. And again, we can go so far into staying for the kid. Like there's so many avenues that we can take from this.
Yeah.
But I do want to end it here. So I want you guys to know that we have both been through some very difficult situations. And if you guys ever want to talk to either of us or want to reach out, we would love to hear from you. Um, the best, I think therapy for us is to be able to help others get through similar situations.
Mm-hmm.
And me personally, I learned so much from other people's stories, and everyone has a different story and different ways they deal with things that you might learn to be able to use yourself. And so, yeah, I think we'll end there. And yeah, I think we'll have you back on because I want to dig deeper into some other things. But if you guys have questions too, or if you have questions for Bonnie or me that you both wanted to have us on and we can talk about, that would be super cool.
Absolutely.
And yeah, anything else before you go? So you're on Instagram and also on Facebook.
Yes.
What's your feed? Is it just Bonnie Little on Facebook?
It's Bonnie Jean Little. The
Okay,
whole name.
the whole name.
The whole
All right,
name.
you guys. Find her Bonnie Jean Little on Facebook and BJ Little 72 on Instagram. So
Yes.
you guys watch out for her journey. We've got some serious work to do, and she'll be back on Hey Nikki.
Yes. Hey,
So
Nikki.
so we have, I don't know if, so it's showing that 6 people are watching. I don't know if 2 of them are us. I'm not sure, but
No.
thank you so much for those of
Yes.
you who are watching.
Thank you.
I'm going to, yes, I'm going to post this now and then for Instagram, and then I'm going to download it. I'm going to have Jakeem with Beyond Eons Productions. He is the owner and editor. So I'm going to have him take it, the video, and then he'll put it up on Beyond Eons Productions um, and edit it. So it'll be on YouTube as well.
Awesome. I look
All
forward to
right, go lay down and relax
I'm gonna
after that crazy exercise you had today.
right.
And I want to talk about, we have so much stuff to go over,
I know.
but we'll end it
Right.
there. All right, thank you, Mr. Muscle
Yes.
Mania, for watching.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. All right, I love
Love
you.
you.
All
Love
right,
you.
good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.